saw the ending before the movie was done. I got thick skin because I've been burned before. I got baggage that you don't know of. Learn the hard way not to trust anyone. I'm not letting anyone get too close. I'm a wild one, I'm alright, love on my own. You probably think I'm hurting, but darling, I'll be fine. It's just a little heartbreak, and heartbreak fades with time. You probably think I'm broken, I swear that I'm alright. It's just a little heartbreak, and heartbreak fades with time. You probably think I'm hurting.
You guys. We don't know. We miss you on the build site. Oh, Bean. You're so mean. Are you hungry? Are you ready for breakfast? Oh no, we're out of hay in here. But there's eggs.
Before giving you a chance, I said no, I turn you down before we even
Try
got
them
to
a little.
dance. I have demons that I don't really show. Learn the hard way not to trust anyone. I'm not letting anyone get too close. I'm a wild one, I'm alright, love on my own. You probably think I'm hurting,
Alright, you guys, settle down.
I'll be fine. It's just a little heartbreak fades with time. You probably think I'm broken, I swear that I'm alright. It's just a little heartbreak, and heartbreak fades with time. You probably think I'm hurting. Cowgirls don't cry.
Alright, I gotta drag hay over.
Cowgirls get too close. I'm a wild one, I'm alright, love on my own. You probably think I'm hurting, darling, I'll be fine. It's just a little heartbreak, and heartbreak fades with time. You probably think I'm broken, I swear that I'm alright. It's just a little heartbreak, and heartbreak fades with time. You probably think I'm hurting. Cowgirls don't
It's a good day. Almost lost one. Oh, she just hung it on my face. Guys, we're really struggling with the depression and how hard it is to farm and build and take care of critters at the end of winter and the beginning of spring. It's been a real struggle to get motivated to work on the build. It's been a real struggle to come out here when everything is wet and dirty and muddy, and we're trying not to track in and keep that positive motivation to getting things done and continuing on. Good morning. Hi, Ebony. Are you thirsty? Is it thirsty time? You have to double lock your cage because you escape. Getting it. I'm getting it. Watch your head. It's really hard to talk about being depressed when you're getting to do the things that you want to do, that you have dreamed of doing for so many years, and you're actually putting those things into play. Why do you always knock over your food and water? Huh, girl? There you go. The one thing about farming is you have to get out here and you have to take care of the animals, and you have to be doing this regardless of what the weather's doing. Rain, sun, shine, doesn't matter. Snow, cloudy. You have to come out here and feed them and water them, regardless of how you feel. You also, I know for me, I want to come out and be sweet and affectionate to my animals, and I don't want to just go through the steps without talking to them nicely and sweetly. And that's actually one of my first steps to dealing with my depression and my sad syndrome, with the clouds and the rain and just the yuck and the mud and the muck that we deal with in spring on the homestead. Hi, buddy boy. You're such a good boy. Get you clean water. Don't you eat on that. When I stop to just look around and think of what I'm grateful for, and I'm really grateful that I get to be on this property and that I get to take care of these animals, and then these animals then bring food to my table, and that's really important. That's one of the things that I really want and that I strive to do, is the self-sustainability. that's not saying that the depression isn't real and dealing with SAD syndrome isn't real, because it is. And I don't believe in the fake it till you make it, but I do believe in trying to be in the moment. And the moment is that I'm grateful to these animals, and I love these animals. And so when I interact with them with love, and I talk to them, and that helps me a lot. I've been seeing in a lot of other channels that they're talking about the depression that they've gone through and what they're dealing with, and how they're dealing with it, or maybe not even how they're dealing with it. A few of them I've just seen say that they are. And it is something that I have been struggling with for the last few weeks since we got COVID. And it's hard to say, I'm living my dream and I get to be in this beautiful place, but I'm depressed, or I'm sad, or I can't get motivated, or, you know, those kinds of things. But that is the reality of it, is working on getting motivated and finding joy is how I found that I can actually move through, trudge through these kind of days. We've had quite a few of these days, these gray, rainy type days. I think we're on day 4 now, and it really affects my psyche. And for those of you that watch the lives and you're like, but you're fun and you laugh and you play, and that is a true part of my personality, I have to motivate myself to get up and move and go and do. And it's really easy for me to hunker down and spend weeks at a time in bed. And I don't know if that's something that you deal with, but I know a lot of people deal with it, and it is definitely something that that I've dealt with for a really long time. So the one thing about the animals is the animals force me to get out of bed. They force me to come outside, and they force me to participate in life. And that doesn't mean that the mud and the muck and the mess, doesn't affect me, because it does. It's, you know, the getting in and out of the house without causing mud and creating a mess that you then have to clean up. It's this ongoing vicious cycle. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I do to keep me from falling down that rabbit hole. Because like I said, I've been dealing with this for a really long time. And then adding on the PTSD, which definitely makes me want to hunker down and not leave my house. So one of the things up here on our farm, because we're building, and we're living in an RV, and it's not just me here, but that was part of my plan. If I wasn't up here by myself and I had other people to help me, encourage me, maybe force me to get out of bed and to put on a happy face. And again, I mentioned I don't like the fake it till you make it game. I had to really work at seeing somebody, Kira, Kimmy, my critters, and all of those things, and stop and say, no, I really enjoy being with this person, and I really enjoy what we're doing. So when it was brought to me, it was called being mindful. And I remember when I was first told, be mindful of where you are and what you're doing so that you can engage in that moment in time and find the joy in that moment in time. And I remember thinking that it was really stupid. But it actually isn't. And when you develop this skill and you can put this tool in your toolbox, when you're in one of those funks and in one of those moods, you can stop and say, yeah, it's muddy here and it's messy here and it's raining, but I'm here and I'm doing this. I'm doing this thing that I want to do. And if you're not on land and you're not doing this thing and you still have the dream, what I did before I got here was I started planning and I started writing things down and creating a 5-year plan so that I had a pathway to take to get to this place. You know, and a lot of times when I'm stopping and I'm looking at the mud and the muck and the mess, and I'm sad that it's that way, what I do is I stop and I make a list of what can I do different so that I get something different. Because if I don't put away all of my things next year, the next winter, spring, I'll be dealing with this exact same thing and going through these exact same motions. And that's the definition of insanity, you guys. Doing the same exact thing over and over again and expecting something different. So it's really easy to say, hey, just be happy because you don't have any health problems and you physically can get up there and do that and you have the money to come and do that. But I've been a single parent my whole life and not able to keep a regular job. And yes, I am very grateful for my health. But the things that I'm dealing with, I do have a broken foot that has a plate in it and causes me problems. I have skin cancer that I'm dealing with. You know, I had a bunch of tumors and had to have a hysterectomy. So I find that when I catch myself saying, yes, but that person had way more opportunities than I did. I remember something that somebody told me, which was find your opportunities, because we all have them in one way or another. And when you acknowledge them and you find them and you nurture them and you try to grow them is when small, tiny steps may happen, which will eventually get you to these big steps. And yeah, not everybody has a Kira and a Kimmy that they can have come live with them and hang out with them. But I bet you would be surprised how many people would want to help you with your journey of homesteading and hanging out and would want to participate. They may not live with you, but they may come to your property and help you. And I had a lot of people in the beginning when I talked about getting this land that said, hey, I want to come up and help. And sometimes you just have to be open to letting those people do that. And I knew that I had Kira and Kimmy who wanted to come out and help and do this. And so I didn't accept any of that other help because I didn't need to, but that doesn't mean that you wouldn't have someone in your life who wants to. One of the biggest things that helped me is to have a grateful list. So every morning I get up and I read my grateful list and I go over that in my head, and that helps me be more excited about the day. It doesn't always make it a happy, joyful, fun day, but it definitely helps. And it definitely keeps me right-minded. And I'll tell you, this isn't exactly what I wanted done. This isn't the dog yard that I wanted to have up here. This wasn't the dog yard of my dreams. But sometimes you just have to do what you can do now to make the difference. And then when you're in a better space, you could build the dog kennel of your dreams, which I've already planned it all out. So that's my next step, is while I'm waiting, plan, draw it out, check prices, figure out what you need, figure out all of the things that you need, look at cost, get an estimate going. Sometimes that in itself is depressing, but what it does is it gives me a place to go and something to dream about. And dreaming to me is faith. It's faith that it's going to happen and that you can do it, and you can break that dream down into tiny little steps. So some days it's only $1 at a time. You can only buy one brick at a time to build a retaining wall. And there's a possibility that that's what's going to happen for me this year. And that's okay, because if I buy one brick a month, that gives me 12 bricks at the end of the year to build part of a retaining wall to start that perfect dog kennel that I want to have coming off the back of my house. But it's also better than just not doing anything. One of the reasons that I actually started the YouTube channel was to kind of force me to do the things that I need to get up and get done. And believe it or not, crossing that bridge of putting yourself out there for everybody to see you learn and fail, which is very scary in itself, it's a real thing, has pushed me to continue to try and do and get stuff done in order to make videos to put out. And the bonus of the YouTube channel was I get you guys. You guys cheerlead me, you champion me on, all of us, all three of us, to do better. You give us examples and help us, and information that I didn't have or hadn't found, which would make putting things in easier, and doing things a little bit easier. So the bonus of all of this is that I've gotten you guys. And that brings me to one of my next most important things, is you have to find your tribe. And I have a few. I have my church family that I have my own biological family. I have Kim and Kira. I have you guys. So getting out there and doing will help you find your tribe. And getting involved in groups. Like I have a few groups that I belong to on Facebook and that kind of thing, that get me around like-minded people that are probably dealing with the same things that I'm dealing with, and can help me motivate myself to keep doing it, because it's definitely worth it in the end. And today I'm showing you kind of all of the things that I don't like showing you, which is the chicken poo right outside the RV, and the duck mess, and the things that we didn't get put away that are out all over the place. And I'm showing them to you today because the stress and anxiety of dealing with these things now, when it's raining and it's muddy and it's yucky, and you know, I didn't get the chicken coop done, so guess where the chickens are hanging out? Right outside the RV. And so now I have to deal with that, and I am determined this year to not set myself up to fail like I did last year with not getting things done so that they can be used. I was trying to do way too much in a very short period of time. So we're going to do better planning this year, and really focus on a start and a finish of some things. And right now I'm really motivating myself to get back into the shipping container. And luckily enough, we're supposed to have about 4 days of rain, of sunshine, no rain, after this 4 days of rain. So that should definitely help pull me out of the funk, get me motivated to get back to building. And I just want to thank you guys, because you've been wonderful, and all of your cheerleading and you guys did good, and all of those things has really helped us do this to this point, and will continue to help us to do more. So I'm getting really excited about finishing the shipping container, moving into a bigger space, getting a clean area around the shipping container so that we don't have to worry about the mud and the muck. And we have a place to take off our muddy boots and our yucky boots before we come inside, so that gives us a nice clean place to work and to do. It's unbelievably difficult to build and live in the same space. And the RV has been wonderful, and I don't regret it, but it's just as difficult for 3 people to live in a small RV. So if you're planning on doing this, or you think you want to do this, give yourself some grace, because I think that brings me to my last tip, which is be gentle with yourself. Especially if you're learning a whole lot of things at one time to try to do what your dreams are, to fulfill your dreams. That's extremely difficult. And sometimes you have to really just learn to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And to say, you know, I didn't get everything done today, but I got the dog yard up. And, you know, or I got all the animals fed today and watered. Or I read a book that helped inspire me, or I researched and studied something so that whenever I go work on that fireplace, it'll be a little bit easier and I might know exactly what I'm doing. You know, be gentle with yourself and be kind, because you deserve that. You deserve to feel good about the things that you've accomplished. And that's something that I struggle with. I struggle with saying I did good enough. Today I did good enough. I got up and I did what I could do, and I did it to the best of my ability today. And it doesn't mean that tomorrow I won't do better or I'll do it different. It just means that today I did the best that I could do. So I really struggled with thinking about if I was going to make this video, because I work really hard on staying positive. And I had to look at some of those demons, or, you know, the depression that I deal with. And I'd like to say that I'm strong enough that I don't deal with it, but I do. I deal with it every day. And that's okay. It's okay that I do. It's okay that some days I just want to hunker down in bed and not leave my bed. I have those too. And, but today I give myself some grace. And today I say I did good and I did the best that I could do today. And tomorrow I want to try to do better. So come back tomorrow, hang out with us. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I hope that you would. We have a lot of fun here. We're building a homesteading dream, starting out with the shipping container and tiny house. And I just think it's going to be really cool. We'd love to have you follow along. Thanks a lot. Bye.